If you just joined us, this is The Pulse, and we're coming to you live from our Kumlimli studios on digital address 0992539. Now, you might have heard that some taxes were increased in the mid-year review, while others were increased. In this report, Raymond Aqua highlights the key issues in the statement and what it really means for you.
Insist that as of mid-year, some 57 one district, one factory projects which were in operation have provided over 50,000 direct and indirect jobs across the 16 regions of the country.
Currently, Mr. Speaker, 181 projects are at various stages of implementation spread over 110 districts across the 16 regions of the country. As of mid-year, 57 projects were in operation.
It also maintains some 3,000 jobs have been saved from the banking sector cleanup alone. Now, some form of clarity was also brought to the projects expected under the Zongo's development agenda, as the minister explained what government was going to do this year.
Mr. Speaker, a number of projects are ongoing: construction of water systems, access roads, alleyways, Bailey bridges, schools, and institutional toilets.
Well, there was no mention of skyscrapers or villaggio-like structures, as the housing minister had hinted earlier. On taxes, the minister announced the removal of the luxury vehicles tax.
We have noted suggestions from the general public on the implementation of this tax, and Mr. Speaker, as a listening government, we are proposing to the House the withdrawal of the luxury tax levy.
This means for those who own cars with engine capacity of 3,500 cc, like some Toyota Land Cruiser Prados, you would revert to paying only 150 cedis and save 1,000 cedis when you go to renew their roadworthy certificate. Of course, government will miss out on the 21.3 million cedis it accrued from the luxury tax during the first 5 months of its implementation. On the other side, the energy sector levies were increased.
With this mid-year review, Mr. Speaker, government is proposing an upward adjustment in the road fund levy, the energy debt recovery levy, and the price stabilization and recovery levy to bring the ratios close to 21% to help bridge the financing requirements.
For the same Land Cruiser Prado car, which required 400 cedis to fill its tank, it will now need 412 cedis to fill the same tank. And if this happens every 5 days, it will translate into a cost of 876 cedis per year to run your car, resulting in an actual savings of some 124 cedis if you compare with the 1,000 cedis luxury tax removed. For liquefied petroleum gas, which got an increase of 8 pesos per kilogram, you will pay some 1 cedi 70 pesos more. For example, in 2015, a typical 40.5 kg LPG cylinder cost 48 cedis, and a bag of charcoal then was also 40 cedis. While a bag of charcoal is now 45 cedis, the same 14.5 kg LPG cost 81 cedis 70 pesos. While it's unclear how this will promote the use of LPG, which was introduced as a cheaper, environmentally friendly and healthy fuel for mostly low-income homes that used wood fuel.
Let's cross over to Parliament, where the House is currently debating the mid-year budget review that was presented yesterday by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta.
That is captured in the Hansard. Mr. Speaker, we are having difficulties with the figures because the Hansard is not ready. And this is the first time we are witnessing this in the House. Why did the minister do that in the first place? Majority to come to the House to deceive us. Why? No, we must understand. We must understand. Is it not intention to deceive the House? Yes, leader, you have been here for a long time. Have you seen this before? It doesn't happen here. This is the first. Majority leader. Mr. Speaker, first of all, what additional information the minister supplied us is additional information and not a different set of information. It's additional information and not different information. There's a world of this difference between additional information and a different information. That's number one. Number two, Mr. Speaker, give me one example of a finance minister who has come to this house and addressed this house from this rostrum, who has not given us additional information apart from the document that he comes with. Give me one example. Always. Mr. Speaker, so it is strange when people begin to say that because additional information was provided, the minister was minded to deceive. And Mr. Speaker, I'm going on the same path. He said the minister was minded to deceive this house, which language itself is very offensive.
Mislead.
Mr. Speaker, he said deceive. That's what he said. Mr. Speaker, we should be careful with our choice of words.
If you did say deceive,
that is what he said.
Then that definitely is unparliamentary. You have to withdraw.
Mr. Speaker, I said
mislead.
Mr. Speaker, I said deceive. But if you ask me to withdraw, I withdraw and replace it with mislead. Mr. Speaker, I'm saying this because the honorable the majority guy is saying that it was just an additional information. Mr. Speaker, no. When he was doing the presentation, he spoke about the cocoa sector. And under the cocoa sector, he spoke about 3, 4, 5 paragraphs. They are all missing in the document. They are all missing. So it's different. It's different. He spoke about different things altogether. That is why we are having difficulties. I am providing the information, the figures as I heard him, and I'm being challenged. I'm being challenged.
Well,
why did the minister do that?
That
is the issue.
What is in the document before us?
There's no cocoa sector.
Part of the presentation the minister made on the floor.
Mr. Speaker, it's part of it.
Yes, so
but not all.
What is not here is additional information he added.
Mr. Speaker, the minister was here to present the abridged form and not the full document.
Is that what the
so
minister,
if the abridged one...
Honorable member, is that what the minister told you? That he was going to present the abridged form. He didn't say that. So just let's go by his word. It's true that we are a bit handicapped because the Hansard is not ready and it's not before us. But that has always been the case. I have followed budget presentations throughout, and no minister has stated or read exactly what is always in the document before us. So when you want to get what the minister presents to the House, you go to the Hansard. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, if a minister comes with a document, the document cites a figure, maybe 100,000, and in his delivery, he says it is 120,000. He would say that, yes, there are different figures. I think the figure is 100,000. I mean, the minister provides information to explain how come 100,000. It's additional information and not different information. Mr. Speaker, I am happy you want to lead my colleague on the path of righteousness, that it is additional information and not different information. Would you take a cue and go on?
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for ruling on the matter. But the difference is too clear, because the whole cocoa sector is missing in the documents. But, Mr. Speaker, the import of the argument is that cocoa production is declining. And the minister, according to the figures he provided yesterday, that 2018-2019, we are recording 794,318 or so. But, Mr. Speaker, the most important thing is that even that figure, we will challenge it. We will challenge that figure. Because we have figures from COCOBOD that contradict what he's talking about. We have figures from COCOBOD. But because we don't have the Hansard, we'll leave the figures hanging. Definitely we'll come to budget, and this issue will come back. We'll come to budget and it will come back.
Honorable
But,
member,
Mr. Speaker,
no. You are permitted to use the figures you have.
yes.
Yeah, don't say because you don't have the Hansard, you withhold your figures.
So,
Bring
Mr.
them,
Speaker,
the figures
using the
are from
figure of
COCOBOD.
794,
Let's get get back to Parliament. The House is debating the government's economic policy, and government is seeking the House to approve some 6.3 billion cedis additional funds for the Ministry of Finance. Let's get more from Parliament.
I have several funds. You don't have cocoa. You don't have cocoa. You have been coming to our area to buy some few pots. You don't even know. We produce the pots and everything. And I've been on the committee for a long time, so I know what I'm talking about. Leader, I'm saying that, Mr. Speaker, when the actual budget comes, the next budget comes, the figures will expose them. Even the figure we are talking about here, Mr. Speaker, is inaccurate. And we'll prove to them. Cocoa production has declined significantly. Mr. Speaker, the Cocoa Board is saying that the reason for the decline is cocoa swollen shoe disease. And it's an issue being contested seriously. Mr. Speaker, but we in the minority, because we are privy to the facts. We are privy to the facts. So when people are saying that we produce cocoa in abundance, when the sector managers are talking about decline and attributing the decline to cocoa swollen shoe disease, the Minister for Railway will sit here and say we have produced in abundance. Cocoa is different from railway, Minister. Cocoa is different from railway.
Well, honorable member, I don't know why you are inviting the Minister for Railways in this matter. But the Minister, you have the opportunity. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the gentleman, my colleague who just spoke, is, I don't want to use that word. I was going to say speaking out of ignorance, but Mr. Speaker, you will ask me to withdraw it. But Mr. Speaker, if you are a cocoa farmer, you are involved in cocoa, and you don't know that our entire cocoa sector, our entire industry, cocoa industry, was totally based on the railway sector. If you don't know, for example, Mr. Speaker, if you don't know, for example, that when the railway started in 1898, around that time, cocoa had come, Tetekwashe had bought cocoa, and in the western region they started the railway line because of gold. But Mr. Speaker, between 1898 by 1933, the then Gold Coast had become Africa's or the world's largest producer of cocoa because of the railway. And Mr. Speaker, as you are well aware, Gold Coast at that time is not Ghana today. It's about a third of Ghana. So if you tell me who have cocoa farmers in my constituency, if you tell me who today is working in a sector which developed because of cocoa and which will develop again because of cocoa, that I don't know about cocoa because of this remit that they've given me for railway, which I have for 2 years. Mr. Speaker, then I don't know how to describe you. That you think that by virtue of a ministerial appointment, you forget everything you know and you don't learn anything. And you don't even know that it was railway and cocoa at twins, and you get up and tell me that I don't understand cocoa. Mr. Speaker, I don't know what you understand. But in any event, Minister, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's talking about you.
Minister for Railways, well, you are right, because that's why the railway system in Ghana is different from the railway system in India, because the focus was different. The one in India was focused on passenger train carriage of people. And so if you go, you see there's a difference in the rail track and then the coaches. So you are right. Yes, Honorable Eric Opoku.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank the Honorable Minister for the information. In fact, it's good information for the House that we use railway to produce cocoa in Ghana. It's news.
He didn't say.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Member, you'll be timed out very soon. He didn't say we use railway to produce cocoa. No, he didn't say that.
Mr. Speaker,
I overrule you.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I have in my hand Parliamentary Debate, Official Report Test Series, Volume 1, 30 September 1979 to October 1979. And I was reading it and I'm sitting here. Everything we say on this floor is recorded. I'm reading what happened in 1979. How can he get up and tell me, say what he said? It's an insult. And he must enjoy. We must learn how to respect each other in this world. We speak in jest with us, but he cannot insult me. What he said is an insult. And we must learn, no, we cannot catch these kind of expensive jokes. The speaker, I got up, I didn't insult him. I just stated, gave information. He can disagree with that information, but he cannot get up and say what he just said. It is totally wrong. Honorable, it is totally, I take exception of it.
Honorable,
and he must apologize. We try and apologize.
Honorable Eric Opoku, your colleague takes strong exception to it and has asked for you to withdraw and apologize to him.
Mr. Speaker, if you heard him earlier on, he said I was speaking out of ignorance. Hey, leader. And now he was talking about railway and cocoa production. Mr. Speaker, what is the connection?
Please.
I was talking about railway cocoa production. He got up and said, oh, when you said I don't know cocoa railway is cocoa. I didn't get the connection because I was talking about cocoa production. So if you're talking about cocoa production and you said, oh, because you're in charge of railway, you know cocoa, what are you saying? Are you not saying that we can use railway to produce cocoa? What is the connection? What is the connection, Mr. Speaker?
Honorable,
Mr. Speaker, it is important.
Honorable,
it is important for all of us to understand that.
Honorable Eric Opoku, your deduction is incorrect. And so I will call on you to withdraw and apologize to him. He didn't say that you use railways to produce cocoa. That he never said that, and his submission did not in any way give any
Mr. Speaker, I'm guided by your advice. I will withdraw, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
please,
Mr. Speaker,
please.
I'm still not clear.
Please, and apologize.
With the connection between cocoa and railway.
Honorable member,
so, Mr. Speaker,
I said withdraw and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, I apologize.
But you haven't apologized.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw and apologize.
Yes.
But, Mr. Speaker, it is important for us to also understand exactly what he meant by the relationship between railway and cocoa production.
Marketing.
Mr. Speaker, I was talking. Mr. Speaker, I was specifically talking about cocoa production. I was not talking about cocoa marketing. I was not talking about cocoa transportation. I was talking about cocoa marketing. I was talking about cocoa. But Mr. Speaker, let me move on.
I don't want us to debate this.
Once I have apologized, let me move on.
You cannot continue to produce when you don't have a market to sell what you produce. That's what the linkages you are trying to draw. So please, you go on. You are making very good submissions. Now you've decided to inject some this into it.
Mr. Speaker, they also spoke, the minister also talked about planting for food and claimed that because of that intervention, maize production has increased, rice production has increased. In fact, he mentioned the percentages. Mr. Speaker, you recall that when the State of the Nation address, His Excellency the President indicated that as a result of that program, we are even exporting maize. We are even exporting rice in this country. Mr. Speaker, it's in the State of the Nation address. Please, it's before the House here. The President indicated that we are exporting maize, we are exporting rice. Please, are you running away from the statement of the President? Mr. Speaker, I have with me here a document that will give us the clear picture. A clear picture of what is happening in the agricultural sector. Mr. Speaker, statistics from the United Nations on Ghana's import for the year 2018. If you want me to lay it, after using it, I will lay it so that you can have copies. And you see, you don't want to research. Mr. Speaker, the first page, rice importation in 2018 amounted to 75 million 817,000 Ghana cedis from UN statistics. Mr. Speaker, rice, okay, I've mentioned rice, corn, $138 million. So, Mr. Speaker, if they come before us here, claiming that as a result of the program, we have produced in abundance to the extent that we are exporting, it is not true. We are importing, and the records are here. We are importing maize into Ghana. And Mr. Speaker, I have not even spoken about the fact that Ghana went to ECOWAS to borrow serious, and as of now, we have not even paid. The deputy minister, have you paid? You are not the deputy minister. The deputy minister is there. Ask him, we have been paid because we don't have it. And now we are claiming that we have produced it in abundance. Mr. Speaker, that is the true situation now. So it is different from getting the right thing done than to come to this house with figures, banditing figures around as if all is well. Mr. Speaker, the reality suggests that we are not doing well, even though we are talking so much about that particular program.
And I'll give you two
the
more
biggest
minutes.
pillar of that program has been collapsed.
2 more minutes.
Mr. Speaker, the biggest or the strongest pillar of the Planting for Food and Jobs program has collapsed. It has collapsed. It is the subsidy on the fertilizer that they said they were going to give to farmers at 25%, and then after harvest, they pay the remaining 25%. Mr. Speaker, they have changed it. They have reverted to the old system. Now farmers pay 50% upfront, and then they also pay 50%. That was the system in place when they took office. So you just change it and give it a name. Now, having gone back to the same system, do you repeat the name?
Well,
or
I
you change the name?
see the Deputy Minister for Agric, Food and Agric, so I'll give him the opportunity. Yes, Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to correct an impression. He said the system, we have reverted to the system that was in place as at 2016. But the statistics suggest that the highest subsidy that the previous government had on fertilizer was 32%. That was the highest. And as of 2016, a bag of NPK was selling after the subsidy at 82 Ghana cedis. As at now, even with the 15% inflation we inherited from them and bringing it down to single digit, when you put things together, a bag of subsidized NPK is 75 Ghana cedis, 50 kilograms. So the two scenarios are not the same. And fertilizer usage over the country has improved. We were saying yields have also improved. So the honorable ranking member is misleading us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Eric Opoku. Take that on board as you make your submissions.
Mr. Speaker.
I say give you the 2 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, during our time, we were paying 50% of the fertilizer, and the farmers were paying 50%. And that's exactly what they are doing now. Mr. Speaker, that's exactly, there's no difference. The free one is the cocoa one. That is different from what you are talking about. I mean, your own budget. Let me read to you. My brother, you don't rush. In paragraph 357, Mr. Speaker, 90,000 metric tons of subsidized fertilizer were procured and distributed to 650,000 crop farmers nationwide. In 2017, the ministry will continue the fertilizer subsidy program. You look at it. So, Mr. Speaker, what they are saying is that in 2016, we subsidized 90,000 metric tons of fertilizer for the farmers. 50%. 50%. It was 50%. 50%. Look. So when they came, they said they were going to do planting for food and jobs.
Please, honorable members, we are not at the market.
And under the planting for food and jobs, the arrangement was that instead of the 50%, they will make the farmers pay 25% before they assess the input. And after harvest, they will pay the additional 20%, 25%. Then, Mr. Speaker, after 2017, they said, no, that is not feasible. So they came back to the system they inherited. And what I'm saying is that because of that change, you introduce a new name, Cooperative for Food and Jobs. Now, if you're going back to the old system, do you have to leave the name as you got it? You have to change the name because it has collapsed. It's no more working. That is my argument. And the deputy minister got up. I thought he was even going to challenge me on the fact that he borrowed and has not paid here. No, he couldn't. Mr. Speaker, that is the reality. Why do you claim that you have produced so much? You are importing maize, and now you are going to ECOWAS strategic stores borrowing. And the very person that borrowed is here. He hasn't paid. So as we stand now, apart from the fact that we owe money, we also owe cereals. And that's the reality. We owe money, we owe food. We owe food. Mr. Speaker, that's my argument. So the figures we are turning out create the impression that all is well, but the reality is that, Mr. Speaker, things are bad.
Honorable Eric Opoku, you have referred to the Deputy Minister, so he's up on his feet. I have to give you the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I have a document here, facts and figures, agriculture in Ghana, facts and figures, 2016, from the Ministry of Food and Agriculture Statistics, Research and Information Directorate. So I will tender in this document so that you will have the facts. Fertilizer by type MPK, full cost as of 2016 was 120 Ghana cedis, 50 kilograms. Then subsidy payable was 40 Ghana cedis by the government, and the farmers paid 85 Ghana cedis. And the subsidy was calculated as 32%. Yes, I have the document here. I'm holding the document. I'm holding the document, Mr. Speaker. And then, Mr. Speaker, urea was 100 Ghana cedis, and the subsidy payable was 20 Ghana cedis, and the price at which farmers bought urea was 80 cedis. And the subsidy calculated was 20%. So the NDC offered 20% for urea, that is, for fertilizer that is meant for top dressing. That's 2016. 2016. And we are offering 50% subsidy for both MPK and urea. We are offering 50%. So the two scenarios can never be the same. And when he talks about borrowing of grains, the Honorable Ranking Member knows full well that in stock management, you don't keep stock beyond a certain period. If you do that, then you will be jeopardizing the quality of the stock. And so it was in the collective interest of ECOWAS and Ghana for us to use this stock and then to replenish. And that is, that was in good faith. So don't worry about that. If the honorable ranking member knows that there is a lot of food in his village. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Member, now you have 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I read paragraph 357. 357 of 2017.
What document is that?
And when you look at the words there, they said they inherited.
Honorable Member, what is the document?
2017 budget.
Budget, yes.
They inherited a subsidized fertilizer program, and they will continue. That is what they say. They will continue. Yes. So, listen. Mr. Speaker, 2016, the subsidy on the fertilizer was 50%. And then, Mr. Speaker, back to the issue he's raising.
Remember, let's move on. It's been challenged.
And then, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of
you disagree with them, so let's move on.
On the issue of the borrowing, the minister is saying that they took it for strategic reasons. Mr. Speaker, that strategic store is there to support member countries in times of need. And so when they made the request, when the minister went, the commissioner asked him when Ghana will repay. And the minister said in March, they were going to fill the stores grain for grain. Are we not in July? Are we not in July?
Honorable members, we have to move on. Please, honorable members, time is fast spent. Let's listen to the next contributor. I think it's the turn of, yes, Honorable William Ajapong Kotu.
Kwetu.
Kwetu.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to that.
Sit down. What's your problem? Sit down.
Honorable Samson Ahi, what is amiss?
Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw your attention and the House's attention to the fact that the ranking member for Food and Agric and Cocoa Affairs have just spoken. And to be fair to the chairman of the Agric and Cocoa, I want to plead with the majority leader to consider the chairman for Food and Agric to speak instead of a member. No, it's not. It's a friend to the Committee of Food and Agric and Cocoa Affairs to speak after the ranking member has spoken. Majority leader, please, can you consider your chairman? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable member, I'm guided by leadership, and I have a list of speakers here with me, and I'm going by that list. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, today in Ghana, cocoa production has migrated to the western region where the Honorable Ahi hails from. But when it came to speaking of cocoa, it wasn't Ahi who spoke. It is the Honorable Eriko Poku. Yes, because if it comes to cocoa, the epicenter now is in western region. Indeed, Ahi's constituency. Why didn't you talk?
Well, you have now decided to have a conversation. Yes, Honorable, you say you are a friend to the committee?
Yes, I'm a friend.
You are a friend to the committee? Yes, and you are a former deputy minister.
A former ranking member of the committee, deputy ranking member of the committee. Mr. Speaker, I'll start off from where Honorable Eriko Poku left off. He's saying that we're going to borrow grains. Let me explain to him what he means by borrowing. I'm the chairman for National Food Buffer Stock. And so this activity was taken by Buffer Stock. And so I want to educate him on that.
Educate you.
Buffer Stock is the marketing wing of the Ministry of Education. And
what did you say? You want to share information with him or you want to educate him?
I want to educate him because he keeps calling it borrowing. He held a press conference some time ago and I corrected him. He's come back to this plenary session and still calling it borrowing. It is not borrowing.
I don't want any objection to be raised. That's why I'm drawing your attention to the word educate. It has happened a number of times on this floor.
I want to inform him.
You want to share information with him?
Right. Let me say so. I want to share information with you.
Yes.
You can't call that arrangement borrowing. Because you see, Mr. Speaker, what happened was that the ECOWAS community will usually contract various organizations to buy and hold stocks for them in case of emergency for any member country, then they will send their produce or grains to the place. So Buffer Stock was contracted some time back in 2016 to buy and hold those stocks. So the stocks have been in the warehouses of Buffer Stock in Yendi, Tamale, and other places. After 2-3 years, the grains, if not used, will go bad. So they come back and say that, look, the grains there is very bad. And this is when Ghana is doing this free SHS program. And so the free SHS program, we contract independent suppliers for Buffer Stock to buy food stuff and supply to the various schools, the various senior high schools, and then they are paid by the Ministry of Education through buffer stock. So realizing that the food, the crops, the grains there in the warehouses will go bad, what buffer stock did was that they went to the ECOWAS committee to say that, look, your grains in our warehouses, they will go bad. Let's use them. And then in our next season, when we are buying stocks, we buy and replace. That's exactly what we have done, nothing else. And I want to let you know, borrowing, they have no use for it. Sometimes, Mr. Speaker, it could stay in the warehouse and go back. Yeah. So this was a suggestion we gave to them, and they gladly accepted it. We didn't borrow. We made use of it so that they will not go back for them. It was in their own interest. Yeah. Please, it was in their own interest.
Please make your submissions on the budget. The media.
It was in their own interest. Else, the grains would have gone back.
Don't dwell too much on this issue. Let's move on.
So, Mr. Speaker, I also want them to know that cocoa production in 2015, 2014, thereabout, 3 years, production never went beyond 700,000. Production never reached 800,000 metric tons. That is for the records: 704, 740, and then 756. That was the production. And then when they were exiting, 2016, 2017, he keeps saying that, Honorable Orikopoku keeps saying that they bequeathed with us, or they left behind 960,000 metric tons. In the 2016-17 crop season, the crop season starts from October and ends the following year, September. So if your government did October, November, December in 2016, and MPP came to control from January to September 2017, and then we get almost 960,000 metric tons. You don't say that you did it. You did not bequeath to us that quantity of cocoa, no, or cocoa production. It was the effort, it was through the effort of the MPP government that made us get that. You see, within that 3 years, Mr. Speaker, chemicals, fertilizer, the quantities that were bought were the highest ever, and yet we never crossed the 800,000 metric tons line.
It's true.
2014, 2013, 14, 15 cocoa seasons. If you check the records, the amount of chemicals we bought, the amount of fertilizer that we bought was the highest, and yet we never did up to 800,000 metric tons. And these are facts available at Cocoa Board. We never did that. So in 2016-17 crop year, we had 960,000 metric tons. And that was when, Mr. Speaker, when we came in, we changed the chemical that we were using. The fertilizer, the chemical that were being used, of course, has been identified that were very, very diluted. They were not good. And so that is why production wasn't going on well. And when we came and we changed the chemicals, of course, production shot up to 960,000 metric tons in that short period. And this was also supported by other interventions such as artificial pollination and all that. We changed the chemicals. And I don't want to say certain things. The type of chemical that was being used at that time is under contention now in court. I don't want to talk about that. You know it, and I know it too. Mr. Speaker, he's saying that cocoa production is declining. Yes, of course. It will decline up to some level. Why? Because during that period, the period of 2013 to 2016, the chemical that we used on the cocoa, the fertilizer that we applied on the cocoa, and every intervention that we did was not the best. It's been found, and it's being contended in court. And that is why cocoa production is dipping. Of course, we were to be doing rehabilitation of cocoa plantations. What happened? It wasn't done within that period. When the MPP government left behind the rehabilitation of cocoa such that a farmer will be given some compensation. You receive sowing shoot on the cocoa farm, you go and cut it, and you are paid. You are given cocoa seedlings to go and plant. When they came to power, they cancelled it. So this thing didn't go on. And therefore, now, as we speak, the whole part of Western North, we are losing the cocoa there. And he is aware, because that is where he comes from. That is why we have this cocoa sowing shoot disease. You are aware that the cocoa production in Western North, where we used to have the highest cocoa production, is seriously coming down. Because of sowing shoot disease, because of what they did not do right at that time when they were in power. Mr. Speaker, we are now trying to go back to rehabilitate all these farms. All those cocoa sowing shoot affected farms are being cut down. so that we replant them, and that is when production will go up again. So if it talks about production dipping to about 794,000 metric tons, that is right. That's the current figure we have. Of course, I anticipate that we will not get the target of 900,000 metric tons, but it will not stay at 794,000 metric tons. It will surely at least hit 800,000 metric tons. And if it does, that will be better than all the 3 years or 4 years that we were in power. That is for cocoa production. Mr. Speaker, there is one innovation that we have seen. From 2016, when cocoa prices at the international market was around 3,000 metric tons, $3,000 per metric ton. Immediately after that, it dropped to as low as $2,080 per ton. And yet, this government has maintained the producer price for farmers up to now, a whooping drop of about $1,000 on the international price. And yet, this government is still maintaining the price of the producer price to the farmer. Why? Because it thinks about the cocoa farmer. If you and I were to have our salaries reduced, what will happen to us? Of course, we make noise, and therefore, we don't have to let this thing affect the cocoa farmers. And so government, yesterday, as was mentioned by the minister, has had to forfeit its share of the FOB for cocoa. Government is not making any profit out of cocoa sales now. At a point, every ton of cocoa that we're selling, government was losing money, was losing almost about $500 a ton. Now that we've had at least the dollar exchange rate coming in, it is compensating for the loss in price. And every cocoa farmer should appreciate this in this country. Yeah. Because government is not making any profit from the sales of cocoa. And now look at what is happening. This government, thinking so much about the farmer, has gone to negotiate strongly with Côte d'Ivoire and the international buyers. And what do you see? Look at what has happened here. It is mentioned here in paragraph 118, page 25. There's something mentioned there called livelihood income differential. Mr. Speaker, page 25, paragraph 118 and 119. What it says is that government went to negotiate with, in conjunction with Côte d'Ivoire, negotiated with the international buyers, and the international buyers have agreed to give us a premium price of $400 per ton on every cocoa from Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire sold. And so, when we get this money, of course, this money can then be added onto the farmers. And this is the first of its kind in this country. It has never happened in this country before. Yes, it is captured. It has never happened in the sales of cocoa in this country. This, of course, Mr. Speaker, in the words of the finance minister, let me quote him. We wish to say that this is the first of its kind in the history of cocoa sales in the world, and it's a major achievement for the MPP government and an indication of the government's determination to secure a fair share of the multi-billion-dollar cocoa value chain. This is something that has never happened in this country. For the country to go and negotiate with the buyers and the international buyers, for them to get this premium price for every ton of cocoa that we sell in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, coming to
the minority leader is on his feet. Yes, minority leader.
Speaker, the Honorable Kwetu knows I have lots of respect for him and I'm enjoying the debate. But he's misleading this House when he makes reference to Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire, and that the government of Ghana was not making anything out of FOB. Mr. Speaker, for the fact the government of Ghana is subsidizing cocoa, and between 2017 and 2018 lost $350 million. Fact. 2, in La Côte d'Ivoire, they have adjusted their prices downwards following the global world price reduction. Ghana has not done the same. So just be guided with it as you go. So don't go and come and say you are making gains as if Ghana is making gains. Every other year, from 2017 up to yesterday, there are significant losses to Ghana. And he knows, in La Côte d'Ivoire, is the private sector which buys, sells, and stores. In Ghana, is government. We are not the same in terms of its character. So be guided. When you say no FOB gain, there are losses. And you know that you have discussed the losses in the cocoa sector arising out of the subsidy. Thank you.
Minority leader, you have actually supported the point
what I said.
You have amplified it. That was the point that he was hitting at. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, the member for Tamale South, is the minority leader. The Speaker, his own party and the party's leader, the presidential candidate, is out there informing Ghanaians and cocoa farmers that this government is not increasing the price of cocoa for them. And now the minority leader in this house, by implication, is saying that no, the price of cocoa should be reduced. Mr. Speaker, I said by implication, that's what you are saying. Mr. Speaker, what is the position of the NDC? What is the position of the NDC? Should cocoa prices be increased or should they be decreased? What's your position?
Oh, Majority Leader, I thought you were going to thank him for what he has said in support of the honorable member on the floor. Unfortunately, you've gone a different tangent. And he has rather supported the point that is being made.
Mr. Speaker, I'm
he's not asking for increment or whatever.
I'm thanking him most profusely. And by what he said, he's urging government to reduce cocoa prices. Mr. Speaker, that's the necessary implication. We cannot run away from it. Mr. Speaker, no, I should urge him not to make a U-turn now. You are the leader of the party in parliament. Reconcile your position and that of your presidential candidate.
Well, Speaker, fortunately, this is a house of record. My words are ably recorded. I am guiding debate. I never...
So I had the heated debate in Parliament on the budget review presented to the House yesterday by the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta.